on camera with me, works things out there. You can see there is multiple options. A large herd of gnu, one of many in this area. There are huge herds that all fragment. They don't stay in one big blob, and there are many all around us, and the lions have stopped and are heading towards them. We are going to have some action unfolding here, guys. Okay. So what's very important is that I need to be able to keep in the best possible spot to make sure we don't miss out on any of the action. So I'm going to make sure I position ourselves accordingly so that we are in a good spot to document what goes down. This is so awesome. I cannot believe how lucky we've got. Some of you may have joined in on the previous little Facebook Live that we did earlier. Oh, look at all those eyes. And we saw some hyena finishing off a young wounded or ill wildebeest. And we've just driven not too far from there. We were about to have a cup of coffee and we bumped into these guys. So serious luck, and they were heading straight towards this massive herd of gnus. Now I need to balance kind of where to position the vehicle. We want to keep you in a good view with the lions as well as the wildebeest. So let's just stop here. You'll hear the audio of the wildebeest is much louder now as we've got closer. We are in for some action, that I can assure you. Now, what's always interesting in scenarios like this, at least what I find interesting, is that even though there's about 6 or 7 lions, of which I think 5 are lioness and 2 are just young males, I can only seem to pick up 3 lioness moving towards this herd, one of which is far in front of the others. So there's not always as much teamwork and cohesion as you would think, unless, of course, the rest of the herd, the rest of the pride are continuing down the road in the hope that this front lioness will chase some of the wildebeest towards her. Now, as soon as the lion does spook these wildebeest, there is a sense of mob mentality that ensues, and we can have quite a frenzy, and a stampede is likely as soon as these wildebeest work out that the lions are nearby. I'm guessing there's probably about 400 to 500 wildebeest in this herd in front of them, a large amount, and prepare yourselves for the thundering of hooves as and when the action does start to unfold. It's a very still, cool evening. It's been raining. We've got a lot of rain up until about 12 o'clock, which is when Manu and I took over from Taylor and Craig. They were out for the sunset safari, and then they did the midnight shift, or up to the midnight shift, and now Manu and I have been on the go since then. How awesome is this, everyone? The lioness working her way in and around this massive herd of wildebeest ahead of her, trying to work out what her next best move will be. Guessing she may go up onto this termite mound just to get a bit of a vantage point. The grass is long, so even though her hearing's very good and she can hear where they are, no, she's not interested. She knows what she wants to do. And I think what could be happening is that she may be trying to encompass the herd, get right onto the other side of it before launching attack, in the hope that she'll push the herd towards the rest of the pride. And then, I mean, the lions will literally just be getting snagged onto, oh, nice big yawn. So she's the second lioness. The third is quite a way behind her. Heather, you would like to know how many lions are on the hunt? Well, it's mainly this one that we're looking at now. There's another one not too far behind that Manu just showed you. But within this pride, there are, I think, 5 lioness and 2 young males. I'm not sure if they're the same ones we were with earlier this morning, for those of you who were with us on the sunrise safari. It could well be the same prize, but what's throwing us off is that one of the lioness that we've seen has got a very kinky, crooked tail. I remember seeing her months ago. She was one of the first prize of lion that I actually followed. Very distinctive, and she wasn't with the other lioness this morning. That's my little thermal camera you saw swivel through there, so that's what I use to help Manu keep track of what's going on. So now I'm keeping an eye on the lioness that's stationary, the one that's leading the charge, and then if she starts moving, I'll be able to warn Manu, but it seems like this lioness is heading straight towards her, the one you're on. And I can't seem to pick up any others nearby. There's one way off behind us to the left in the direction of where these ones have come from. And they know there's no rush. They know that it would make more sense to sneak slowly into a good position. Even though there's lots of opportunities, they are going to do their best to make their efforts count. Okay, Manu, I think it's gonna... There's, Manu, if you go to about 10 o'clock, there's a tree at 10 o'clock, and then just to the right of that tree, there we go. Well done. So there's another lioness over there. So they kind of... Definitely, they've split up, and that lioness seems to be doing quite a good job sneaking up on the herd. Hi, Scott, you'd like to know if these lions pay any attention to us, and no, not really, although the pride that we saw this morning was a little bit more nervous of vehicles than I would expect them to be. Now, I don't know which lion to go for, because that one that you're on now, Manu, seems to be the best. She seems to be sneaking up the closest to them. But what I've got a feeling is going to happen is that as and when that individual decides to make its move, they'll chase the rest of the wildebeest towards these other lions. So, there we go. It was somewhere there. She's sitting down there, Manu. She's stationary, and I can barely make her out. And there we go. Well done. Well done, buddy. Very difficult business. Okay, Manu, you need to go to the ones on the right now. They're on the move. It's so tricky to know what to do here, which lions to stick with. I think we're going to stick with these 2, though. Let's move a little bit closer. Manu, would you mind just hitting that presenter lights on quickly, just in case these wildebeest stampede, and it'll also just help me see where we're going. Thank you. So we want to try and have as little impact as possible, so I'm not using the headlights of the vehicle, I'm just using a light that we've rigged up to shine down from the roof to illuminate us in the vehicle. And the reason we want that to happen is because if these wildebeest do stampede, we don't want them being blinded in any way by our lights, but we would rather them see us and not run into us, as it is a reality during the frenzy and chaos of a stampede. It's actually quite nerve-wracking. So let's just hope we just don't disappear down a hole or get lodged on the termite mound. We nearly got lodged on something there. Hi Vanessa, you'd like to know what is my favorite part of the hunt, and it's a good question. This is probably it right now though, because these lions are getting close to the herds and they're about to make their move. So these initial stages are very, very exciting, and we are very, very lucky to be out here doing this after dark. There's no one else in the Mara at the moment. It's just us. Have you got them there, Manu? How close are we? We still need to get a little bit closer. Okay. How zoomed in are you? Let's get a little bit closer. Hi Lexi, you'd like to know how long has it been since these lions last had a kill? And I'm uncertain of that. I would guess about at least 24 hours. They're not starving, but they are not full-bellied, and I reckon 24 to 36 hours since their last kill would be my guess. The main thing, though, that I can tell you is that, like I say, they are certainly looking forward to another meal. There's another lioness. I can just make her out. Stay on that one. And then closer to the herd, the one you were on, there's another one closer to the herd and slightly to the right. There, you can pick up her head there, yeah. Okay, there we go. Well done. So we've got these two lionesses here eyeballing the herd, and then I can see some more lion approaching at our 9 o'clock. There we go, well done. And those are the only 4 that I can pick up in the thermal for now, but I'm quite low, and in this long grass I may be missing 1 or 2 of them. Hello, Desiree. You'd like to know how far would I think these wildebeest are from the lions, and I'm guessing it's probably about 50 meters. It's probably a little bit further than it looks. I think the camera is compressing the shot a little bit, so it makes them look a little bit closer than they probably actually are. Mono, if you don't mind going on to the... Actually, no, cancel that. Cancel that. You're good where you are. Perfect. So I'm sure a lot of you are quite surprised at how slowly the lion are going about this when there are so many options. And like I said a bit earlier, they are just going to make sure that they don't blow any opportunities. And we don't know exactly what teamwork or moves these lions may have practiced in the past. So we did see that lioness way off to the left earlier. They could be waiting for her to launch an attack, thus sending the herds into a state of chaos, possibly towards these two. And as soon as these wildebeest catch wind of the lion, or another lioness may start chasing from further away, the herd will start stampeding, and then this will allow the lions, or it will trigger the lions to start chasing. Looks like she's just wanting to get a little bit closer to her partner in crime there. How awesome is this, everyone? I cannot believe what a great spot we are in here. Oh, looks like she's going for it. Something's going to happen shortly, guys, and be prepared for thundering hooves. Where's the other lions now? So this chaos will ensue, and the lions are going to keep working the herds. The initial lioness is still stationary. The other lions I cannot see at this stage. They're quite far away. And this is just the beginning of what I can almost guarantee you is going to end in a successful hunt. We need to keep moving to make sure we stay in a good spot. We don't want to get left behind. And how awesome is this to see the lioness stalking through the long grass straight towards all these wildebeest. And I'm told a lot of you are loving the action that you're already seeing unfold. And as I've said, it's just the mere beginning. Hi, Debbie. You'd like to know if the hyenas are still around? Well, we left the other hyena to come here. We've driven probably about 15 miles, 10 miles from where those hyenas snacked on that young injured wildebeest. And I did see 2 other hyenas pop up on the thermal camera. Oh, there goes a lioness on the left at 10 o'clock, I think. Oh no, I think I was wrong. Apologies. It's difficult to know in the thermal what's what and who's who. But I think it was just some wildebeest running after other wildebeest. Okay, I can only pick up 1 lioness now out of the closer ones. Mono, and she's at about 1. Yeah, that one, I'm not sure where the other one has gone. Michelle, yes, now certainly the wildebeest know that the lions are here. There's no 2 ways about that. So they've moved off a short distance. But rather than fleeing completely, I'm actually surprised they haven't stampeded more than what we've seen. They've just moved off a short distance, but they certainly know that there is a lioness amongst them. Well done. Do we need a move? I think we do. So let me know when you think you've got a decent gap. So we are filming in infrared, everyone, just to keep any newcomers who've just jumped on board this live safari. What is the time now? It's just gone 4 o'clock in the morning, so 2.5 hours still with the cover of darkness before dawn begins to break. And we've got lions on the prowl. And they've chosen a very good spot to be prowling because we are in the midst of the migration here, surrounded by many, many wildebeest. Good. Hello, Josiah. You'd like to know how long are these wildebeest going to be here for during the migration? And in Kenya for about 3 months to 4 months. And in this exact area, possibly only a month of that. But it changes every year. Okay, go to 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock. Yeah, to the right a little bit. There's a lion that I can see working the herd there. A little bit to the right, maybe more. Oh, it's so tricky. Well done. Stay on her now. I'm not sure which lioness this is. I think there's only actually 1 working the herd at the moment. Are you at the end of your zoom there? No, okay. And then just try and go to about 2 o'clock. I think I can see a whole bunch of lion there. No, those are wildebeest that have been separated from the herd. Oof. If you can, just try and stay on one of them while we're moving, Manu, if that's at all possible. We're heading in the right direction though, eh? It's so easy to become discombobulated and not know where Manu's filming because I'm looking down at the monitor and the herds are running every which way. I think we've got 1 at our 3 o'clock. Let's just make sure that is 1 there. Okay. And then let's try and work out where the others are. Because there seems to be 1 It's definitely a lot more focused on the herds. But the herds have moved off now. She may be continuing to work them. And I'm not sure where to go, to be honest. I can just hear hundreds of hooves hammering through this soggy grass. There's been a lot of rain this evening. Is that the one coming back now? No, that's the same one there. Okay. Anna Marie, you've noticed that their little black ears are going to certainly be great visual markers for their other pride mates when they're on the hunt. And yes, they do use visual cues. They are keeping an eye on one another when they are hunting, so that they can try where possible to work as a team. But I'm often actually shocked as to how poor their teamwork is. I mean, if we use this as an example, there are about 7 lions, at least that we know of, and only 2 of them are kind of evidently hunting at the moment, which obviously makes it far trickier. Hello, James. You would like to know if I've ever seen or heard of any lions being stampeded by wildebeest and injured. And no, I haven't, but I'm almost certain it would have happened to some unfortunate lions. There's no two ways about that, but we have yet to see that happening. I mean, just last night we found a young zebra that had been trampled, and I think it had broken its back. It couldn't stand up. So it's certainly, if it could happen to a zebra, it can certainly happen to a lion quite easily. So what's interesting here is that it appears these lions have blown it, and they are now moving back towards, I think, the rest of the pride that they left on the road when you guys joined us. But like I've said earlier, there is just so much food around, they're not going to be too concerned. It's not going to take them long to bump into another option. I wonder where the other lioness went, because there were definitely 2 that we are following in this area. Janine, you'd like to know if they miss more than they are successful, and yes, even during the bountiful migration, they miss very often. But when they do get lucky, they can kill 5 or 6 wildebeests in one sitting quite easily. So this is certainly going to be provide lions with their highest strike rates, probably across Africa, regardless of their hunting prowess or skills. This is certainly the best place and time to be a lion in Africa, in the middle of the migration, with hundreds upon thousands of easy opportunities. Well, it seems like this individual may be heading to another herd. There is another herd. Oh no, she's just veered off, changed direction. But there is a herd ahead of her. There, you can see them. Well done, Manu. So maybe she's not quite done yet. And I'm told a lot of you are sympathizing for the Lioness for missing that opportunity. Fear not, I am almost certain, are going to succeed before the day breaks in the next 2 hours. At least this lady's keenness is definitely helping that. The rest of the pride I'm not convinced about, but she is certainly looking for breakfast. Okay, I think we're probably in a good spot to stop here. Oh, they're already on the move. And this could help her if she just gets into a good spot. They could run right into her. What we need to remember is that we are filming from a very, very elevated position here, so she's not going to be able to see nearly as easily as we can. The grass is quite long. Here she goes. Is she going to get lucky? There's so many streaming from behind. She could snag one at the back, and that's what she's probably hoping for. How many more are there to come? Another lioness has popped up right next to our vehicle. She's going to have to go for it soon. There's not many more. Will there be stay on her? Stay on the hunting line? And they're all gone. Well, I wonder where this lioness popped up from, because I just noticed her in the thermal. That was certainly a half-hearted attempt. I mean, she was trotting very casually towards that herd. Had she have gone a bit faster, she would have definitely caught up to the trail that they were running along and been able to try and snag one of the individuals at the back. Here come the rest of the pride. So maybe this is going to help things. Some reinforcements. Clearly they're needed. And maybe these lionesses were just letting the first two warm up without them. A few practice rounds. Julie, you raise a good point. The fact that there are just so many options that it almost becomes confusing as to which one to go for. And I think there certainly is an element of that. There you can see a young male at the back. Ah, playtime. You can also see the female there holding up her very kinky, crooked tail. And I've only seen her once before. We had a great night with her and her pride. But it was probably about 2 months ago, a month and a half ago, so I can't exactly remember what went down. It wasn't too far from here, but it definitely was further south from where we are now, and I wonder if this pride is kind of moving slightly out of their normal territory in order to follow these migrating herds. The lions will certainly not follow the migration, but they may have a little bit of slight trespassing where they'll edge into their neighbor's territory in order to cash in on the easy meals. Okay. Let's keep moving. Hi, James. You would like to know if I think the coalition of cheetahs that we've been following, those 5 male cheetahs, have got a more cohesive hunting strategy and style compared to lions, I guess, in general. Not really. I think it's just lucky that there's 5 of them. Each of them have taken different kind of roles and all of them have taken the lead at in different moments. The 5 cheetah, So even though we initially thought D'Artagnan, the male with the collar, was more of the lead hunter, that was quickly disproved by other males showing their worth. And I think that just the fact that there's 5 of them increases the likelihood of them catching something. Most predators, in my opinion, are not as clever as everyone gives them credit for. Not everyone, but a lot of people give them a lot of credit. And there's a lot of chats about how lions have this incredible intuition with one another and how they can read one another's minds. But I certainly don't think that's the case. Otherwise, they'd be far more successful hunters. I think if you were to put our brain into their body, we would be able to produce far more effective results. They're probably on a par, but those 5 male cheetahs, because cheetahs are such successful hunters, even when they're solitary, when 5 of them are combined, they become an incredible force to be reckoned with. So I think on average they are going to be more successful than lions, but it's more through default than through actual planning. Now, what I've noticed is that there are no herds for quite some way now. So rather than bouncing you guys through the grass after these lion, what I'm going to try and do is get you guys a frontal view, let them all walk past the vehicle, and then we're going to say goodbye until the next action kicks off. So those are the plans. I'm just going to try my best to get into a good spot for you guys to get a good view of them. How zoomed in are you, Manu? Oh, they're right, yeah. This will work well. I will shortly be in a good spot. Oh! Maybe not. Not if they keep playing with one another. Oh, it's got it by the tail. Okay. Let's just stop here and watch them walk past. Oh, you can hear a hyena calling in the distance. You can possibly just pick it up very faintly. Ooh. There's the old kinky tail lioness. So 3 lioness have passed us now. It'll be good to do a head count of how many there are in total. And is it just the 2 boys now? Huh. So there's a lot of joining and fragmenting of these prides, because there were definitely more than 3 lioness earlier. That I can assure you. So who knows where the other at least 2 have disappeared to? Maybe they're trailing right behind, but I can't see them in the thermal, so maybe we'll meet up with them later. And maybe we'll also meet up with you a little bit later. Have a good morning, midday, or night, wherever in the world you may be joining us from. Thank you so much, and hopefully these lion will be onto another herd and hunting with a little bit more cohesion before the dawn breaks. Goodbye.